ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Just One Question. I am your host, Lion Flood. Thank you for being here. Today, we are going to be talking about something very special, dear to my heart, something that I had to learn through the years, and it has helped me out tremendously. But before we do that, little housekeeping business. Um, Everything that we talk about here is bringing positivity, bringing knowledge, trying to help out. So if you have any ideas, any questions, do not hesitate to email us. Not any professional of any kind, just giving some perspective and different opinions, and hopefully it helps someone out. Without any further ado, we're going to be talking about the five love languages. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Just One Question. So that is the big question, I guess. Where do we go from here? Thank you so very much, you all joining. Love languages, we have them, right? We just didn't know it. We didn't understand them as we were coming up. So I'm gonna go over just a couple of those, and I'm gonna talk about some of my love languages, ways I work with it, and my spouse, and everything else like that. So I sincerely appreciate you for being here. Do me a small favor as well. If you are here, I want you to give yourself a big round of applause for just being able to sit here and listen and open to learning, right? Give yourself a nice round of applause. There you go. What's that, DJ Khaled?
Another one.
Okay, you want another one? Give him another one. Yourself two rounds of applause. All right. So, what are the love languages? Thank you very much for shooting out the shots out there. For those who are listening, we're broadcasting to several different platforms, but we're also doing this so some people can actually see it. Some things I'm going to put up on the screen, and some people are just listening direct to the podcast. I'll try to intertwine and let you know what's happening there and what's going on with that as well. So I'm going to just jump right into love the audience clapping. Thank you so very much. I'm going to just jump right into basically what's happening. Let me just double check and make sure everything's good there. Yes, so love languages, what are they? Wow, I will tell you, I never knew. I still directly don't know. I'm never going to be a master of that, but um, coming up, I was never taught. Was never shown to understand what love was. We grew up sometimes didn't even hugging, never telling each other that we loved each other, right? So when I started getting in relationships, it was hard for me to understand what that meant when someone said, I love you. I didn't say that back. Through years and many trials and tribulations, I learned and I'm still learning, right? We're always still learning. But I want to give some of this advice and some of this knowledge to someone who's listening so maybe they don't have to spend an extra 20 years trying to learn what love is and learning what their love language is. Okay, what the love language. So let's go ahead and jump right into that there, and I'm going to bring that up for you. Love languages, what are they? One is physical touch. And this here talks about what that is and also talk about some things to avoid that you can give to your partner. So, if you are someone who loves physical touch and that's how you speak in your love language, or how you receive, actually, I learned that there's different ways to do it. You may want to be loved one certain way, your partner wants to be loved a different way. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about right now. So, but first, physical touch. How about you try offering massages? um, Initiating intimacy, and intimacy doesn't always directly correlate with sex. Making hugs a habit. That's a small, big one. That's something that my wife and I, we work to do all the time. If she's standing at the kitchen counter for no reason, I'll come and hug her from behind or in front. I'm never thinking about suplexing her, but I'm just giving her a hug, right? Non sexual touch that reminds them of your presence. Just a little touch on the arm, on the shoulder, just rub the shoulder. She jokingly sometimes tells me, she says, don't pet me. You're petting me. And I'm like, no, babe, that's just my way of, giving you that non sexual touch. I just love touching you, right? Putting your arm around them or embracing them. That's a way to show that physical touch is your love language. This is something that you love doing. You love showing your language by um, touching them. Some couple of things to avoid: long periods without intimacy. Let's see, coldly giving affection. Like, you're just touching them, but you're not paying attention. You're still watching TV. You put your hand on his shoulder and just to say, hey, I'm here, but you're not really paying attention. Waiting for your partner to express their desire for physical affection. And that goes into something really quick and come back to this here where you have my prom theory that I speak of. You have two people at the prom at the dance and they're waiting for each other to ask themselves to go and dance. One person has to make that initiation. One person has to make the first step, right? So don't wait for your partner to say, I'm going to be the you should be the first one to initiate that, right? You should be the one to say that to me right there. But something else I was going to jump back to, I'm just taking my notes here and making sure. Make hugs a habit, non-sexual touch around them, putting your arm around them, embracing them, initiating intimacy. Okay, so we're going to go and jump right into the next one, which is acts of service. When you think about this, before I go into that, when you think about this, your love language, you have to discover as well. And you can have more, you can have all five of them, right? You just need to learn how to separate them and not expect all five of them to happen at one time, right? So take some time and learn what your love language is. Some people say, for an example, one of my love languages that I do is acts of service, which I'm about to get into that. It's a small kind of thing that, for an example, let's just say if my wife washed the dishes, I want to put them out. If she went grocery shopping, I'm going to bring in the groceries into the house. I want to show acts of service to kind of demonstrate that. That's my way of showing my love language. She doesn't directly receive that as her love language because I'm going to explain to you what hers are actually. Matter of fact, I'll jump right into that right now. So she loves quality time. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I was come back to that after I finish the acts of service. So let's bring that back up. If you're an acts of service type of person to express your love, try showing rather than telling. Follow through with what you say you will do. Assisting with stressful or time consuming tasks. Try looking for small ways to help them. Example, you want to cook for them, running a bath, paying for gas, right? Maybe getting out and pumping the gas. Those are small ways that you show, hey, I've got your back. I've got you. Being spontaneous, surprising them at work with flowers. I know, and it's a while ago, right? But I remember when we first started dating, I sent her. 'Cause I hate sending flowers, not my thing. But I do it occasionally because she loves receiving them. But I want to send a gift that's more memorable, that will last a little bit longer, even though this doesn't last long. But I sent her one of those fruit basket things at her job at work, and her and her coworkers they all ate it. So that didn't last as long as flowers, but to me, it more value for the money. But those are little small acts of service. That's one way that I love showing it. It's not one of her love languages that she loves receiving, but or showing rather. But that's one way that I love doing it. Things to avoid: ignoring requests for help. If your partner, if your spouse, if your lover is asking you for help and you're ignoring it, then you are showing them that they um, aren't as important and you value them in your life. And that's when you're going to try to start losing them. And let me tell you a big thing here. Do not wait until you that point when it's almost done for you to start saying, "Oh, I'm going to change," because at that point you're probably done at that point, right? Couple of things to avoid within the acts of service. Not following through. If you say you're going to do something, at least do it. Even if you don't accomplish the goal, put the effort in so that they saw that you did it. Maybe you washed the dishes to try to help, and they didn't get as clean, right? Or maybe you loaded the dishwasher and it didn't go in the way that they usually do it, but at least you tried. That's me. I gotta tell you, I'll put it in, and she'll be like, these plates go on this side," and I'm just like, "Hey, they're all in there," but we all have our certain ways, right? Being closed minded is another. For example, like if you're feeding into gender based stereotypes when it comes to a task, it's your job to do the dishes. We in our household we don't have gender based tasks like that. We have our strengths, and her strength may be that, and my strength may be the yard work or something. But that's just what our strengths are. It's not just because I'm a man or a lady. We all do the same work and put in that effort, right? So don't be closed minded. You want to work for that. So here's a question that I have for you. If you're out here listening, or if you're watching right now, ask yourself this: how many of you are working towards doing any of these, or actually knew about that? Huh? I'm going to wait. How many? No? Crickets? Okay, that's all right. Now you're learning and you know about it. So now you're going to go and be able to apply what you're hearing here. So you have no more excuses, right? To say, I didn't know. I didn't know. All right. We're going to get into the next one, which is receiving gifts. This one is a little bit different, but receiving gifts. If your partner's love language is receiving gifts, if the person who you are involved with, if they love receiving gifts, then try thoughtfulness in your gift giving. Not just something where you're stopped off at a gas station and you see a rose at the counter and you're like, oh, let me pick that up. This is something that I absolutely love doing as well. It's not directly my love language, and it's not directly hers that she loves receiving, but I still love doing thoughtful gifts. I will get gifts that mean something, maybe an embroidered item, maybe something from a store where their name is etched in it, or something like that, where we're going to remember it as a family. Souvenirs when we travel, that's without them. I went to a city, I brought them back a T-shirt or something from that city to say, "Hey, I just thought about you, and I know you love going to the city. You couldn't make it with me, so I just wanted to bring you a gift." Right? Give gifts that symbolize moments, experiences, or feelings, something that makes them think about it 6 months from now, a year from now. Oh, I remember you got me a gift from this place, and it invokes that memory and triggers that memory in them. Not just the gifts that we see in the store, and we go, oh, hey, maybe you're in the store one day, and your lover or your partner says, "Oh wow, that's a cute bear. I like that." Maybe a month down the line, you go back and you get that bear, and you surprise them with it, right? So like matter of fact, it's an idea that I got is I had a custom made bear made for my wife, where it was all of the places that we've traveled, all of the cities and places, and some that we haven't, but she said she wanted to go. So it's like a bear that's made of stitching and has all of those countries and cities and places that we want to go, right? And to this day, she has it hung up over our bed. She looks at it all the time. But a couple of things to avoid if your lover love language is receiving gifts. Avoid forgetting special occasions, gentlemen. I know that's one of our things that we do. When's your anniversary? When's it? Oh, I don't know, right? Avoid those special occasions. Make an effort to show them that you remember. It is a special thing for them. It's a special thing for your lover, your partner, to say, "Wow, you remember that? Wow, you even remember what I was wearing when we first met, or where did we went on our first date at?" Those kind of things are very special to them. So avoid forgetting those, right? Materialism, gifts are not about the cost. Don't worry about "Oh, I spent this much money on it for you, and you don't appreciate it." Sometimes they just like a simple gift, but show that you actually cared. So that's a love language that that they want to know more, that it's about you giving effort than just spending money, right? Avoid giving gifts without love or out of duty. Oh, I gave this to you because it's our anniversary. Or I gave it to you because it's your birthday, right? Give it for the special occasions. Society says, oh, you're supposed to give gifts on Valentine's Day because that's the day we're supposed to love. What? What about the other, time frames? Give it because you want to. Give it because You need it. And I tell you what, some of these will help you out with. If you can do some of those stuff, it will help you avoid emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
You don't want that, right? You don't want to be damaged emotionally. You don't want to damage your partner emotionally either, right? So take some time and give those kind of gifts out of love, out of concern. So we're about to move to our next one, but before I do that, I'm going to take a little sip of one of my little drinks here. And if you're watching this, hopefully you become a sponsor. Quality time. What is quality time? That's the next one. Let's find out. If your partner's love language is quality time, I want you to try being mentally present when you are with them. Um, a lot of things are going on in the world. We get into our habits, and I do this as well sometimes. I'm with my partner, and while we're sitting down, and I start scrolling on my phone. But one thing I can assure you, that's not as often as when I am mentally present. If my wife and I are having a conversation, she'll tell you, I will literally take my phone and flip it upside down. I don't care. At this moment, you are the most important thing to me. What you're expressing to me, your concerns, that's the most important thing to me. That phone rings, I can call them back. They can leave a message. They can text me. I'll read that text message later. And it happens more often than not. Not always. We're always human, right? But when I'm with you, I am mentally present. When it's movie night and we're watching a movie and we sit down, that phone is gone. Someone to message, hey, I can message them later or something like that. Do not disturb, all right? Try making plans to explore new places. We love to travel. It doesn't always have to be some big fancy place. Just take a drive up to a cabin or something like that. Go to the water and just sit by the water and listen. Try making plans to explore new places. Uninterrupted time. Example, putting away your phone as I was speaking about that just for a second. It shows your partner that they are the main priority. You can come back to that. You always want to show them that they are number one. Creating small moments to connect, that can be a host of ideas and a host of things, but you want to try to focus on making those small little connections so that way they build those memories that we talked about earlier. Quality and deep conversations and quality time. When you're talking, it's showing your partner that what we are talking about is something that's important to me. So let's figure this issue out. Let's spend some time talking about what we can do to help each other grow. A couple of things to avoid. If your partner loves quality time, being distracted when you are with them, viewing your partner as needy. Oh, you need this, you need that. They need your attention the same way as you need something from them. They're needing your time, they're needing your attention. Complaining about time spent together. Oh, we spend too much time together. I can't believe this. That's going to make them feel as though, well, you have something better to do. Preparing for other engagements when you're with them. I'm with you, but I'm working on this other function that I'm trying to go to. That other function can wait. Just take 5 minutes. Quality time doesn't have to be 30 minutes. There's no time limit, but it's when you're with them, the time that you're with them is quality. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, right? But spend that time with them and so that they can understand exactly what you're going through. We all want someone to want us, right? As they say, we want to be wanted. No one wants to be at a party they're not invited to. I will tell you flat out, if I'm not invited, if I'm not wanted there, then that's fine. No gripes against it. I just won't be there, right? It's the same difference as when you're with your partner, your lover, your wife, your spouse. No matter what name you call it, a rose by any other name is still a rose. If I prick you, do you not bleed, right? So it means that while you are with that person, give them your attention, give them your time. Let's see, and we're going into the last one, and then I'll tell you my wife's one. This one is words of affirmation. What does that mean? That's someone who likes to hear things. If your partner's love language is words of affirmation, you did a great job, you're doing great, this, that, or the other. Try leaving encouraging notes, something that my wife and I do, especially when we go into something like she go to a function and she have a meeting or something. We'll put post-it notes inside my wallet, inside her purse, inside her jacket pocket. So if she reaches in there right before she goes into that room, she sees that post note, like, and there's something written on it that's very, positive, and like, you gonna rock this meeting today. It brings another bright smile to their face and makes them love you even more. Something creating a playlist of songs that reminds you of them, right? So maybe you guys have your favorite song. And one day you just sit down and you start playing the music, and she, oh, that was our song we danced to in the wedding, or this is a song that made my memory when. So it makes their memory go, oh, baby, you remember the song we were at whatever function and we laughed and drank and whatever, right? Try sharing sentiments, excuse me, for your partner's success and struggles. Hey, you know what? I heard you got that promotion. I heard you locked in that deal. You got a new contract. You got a house under contract. Hey, that's great. You're gonna rock it. And even if it didn't happen and didn't fall through, that's all right. That's one step closer. Now you progressed, right? Words of affirmation, complimenting them. The best one, you do not need to tell your partner every time you're beautiful. They've heard it a million times. It's great. They still want to hear it, but you can say something else to compliment them. Hey, I noticed you got some new shoes. I like those. Those look cute with that outfit. Those are good, right? So wow, you notice my nails are done. You notice a different color. Most men, most women may not notice those things all the time. Pay attention to those things, right? And give words of appreciation. Let them know, hey, I appreciate you. A little fun thing that I do whenever my wife jokingly says or something like that, she'll say, oh, what would you do without me? I always say, I don't want to find out, right? I don't want to find out. I don't. I don't want to find out what I would do without you. That I'm telling you in that moment by saying those words, you are that important to me, right? I don't want to do it. A couple of things to avoid. Assuming that they know how loved they are. We think, and ladies, you do this too. You assume that men are supposed to know that you want flowers. Also, but we don't. Sometimes people get in a not necessarily a rut, but they get in one pattern, and we don't know. So don't assume. Let your partner know what your feelings are. Assuming that they know you're proud of them. Not everybody knows. Just because you did great at work or you had, um, you know, a paper that you wrote and they just got a good grade at school, they don't know that you're proud of them. Let them know. Speak it into their heart, speak it into their soul, right? Emotional words are harsh, right? Emotional, harsh words, stay away from it. Don't tell them you won't be something, you can't do this, because that creates what? We know
Emotional damage.
right? We don't want our partner to be emotionally damaged. Takes a long way to come back from that. And not recognizing or appreciating their efforts. We don't want to have our partner.
Emotional damage.
That's what it's going to create. We don't want our partners being um, hurt because we didn't recognize that they got a certificate from work. They got something that was said to them. We need to give them that language, guys. I am so motivated and proud of this right here, because just like this journey, for an example, that I'm working on right now, with these uh, new places that I'm getting, placed into with the podcast. I just got put onto Google Podcasts officially now. Officially got onto Amazon Music. My wife would tell me all the time, "Hey, great job! I'm proud of you." Even though I already know she is, she still says it. So it's not emotionally damaged. She doesn't say, "Oh, Google, you can do better." Like, if you say those things to your partner, it can hurt them, and it will take a long time for them to come back, and we don't want that. We want that to keep going, right? So that's basically it. I am truly excited for you to take the time to listen to what we were just talking about. Go grab the book. You can get it off Amazon. You can get it off from your local bookstore. Take some time to read it. I know when my aunt recommended it to my wife and I, she got the book and she started reading it like right away, and it truly helped so much. Even if you get a moment to take a small moment and look inside sit down and look inside your wife's eyes, your husband's eyes, your partner's eyes. Take a moment and then just let this sound go right through your mind. Right? Right. Tell me that didn't evoke some emotions just now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming. This has been extremely excited, and I'm going to play a little outro for my sponsor. I got a new sponsor, so thank you very much for that. And I want to take time and thank you all for listening to another episode of Just One Question. I'm your host, Lion Flood, and that's my time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, yeah, baby.
You're listening to Just One Question with your host, Lion Flood. This podcast is brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Yeah, yeah, baby, baby, you're my sun and moon. Girl, you're everything between. A lot of pretty faces could waste my time, but you're my dream, girl. You make flowers bloom. Girl, you make the stars collide. And I don't know what I did to get lucky like this, but it sure feels fine.